Yo, what's going on, everybody? It should be OY Between the Game Sports. Back, give you another great video and topic. Let's get to it. Appreciate all the early birds that are in here. Let's get to it. As y'all know, yesterday, Jackson State went down to Houston, got themselves another win to push their win streak up to 9, I believe. I believe they're now 9-0 on the season, and this team just continues to get better and better each time out. And as you can see from the title of this stream, Jackson State runs straight through Texas Southern. And again, if you are in here, please let yourself be known in the comments. No camera on Sundays. We usually don't feel like dealing with it, so no camera on Sundays. But yes, Shedeur had a hell of a game. Had a great game. You know, he had a couple of moments in that game where he looked kind of normal for a couple of moments in that game. But for the most part, it was the Jackson State's running game that sealed this victory for me, in my opinion. You might disagree with me. You might. But in my opinion, it's what Mr. Savion Wilkerson did on the ground. And I think my guy Shedeur Sanders said it before the game even started, that Wilkerson might go for 200 plus yards, and it's exactly what he did. This young man is a beast. I think Coach Sanders called him a dog, and sure enough, it's exactly what he is. Exactly what he is. And you know, it's crazy as he's getting more and more looks, and folks have been telling me he's a pro, and I don't like giving that label out until you actually become a pro. And shout out to Jay Blue. Jay Blue is in the building. Good morning. Hattie Rawls, yep, 9-0. And Jay Blue says our special teams got to get better, but I'm thankful for the win. 3-6 Mafia is the man. Dude is a bad young man. And going back to what I was saying, I don't like giving kids the label as being a pro until you make it. But almost every single time he comes out, to me, it seems like he's getting better and better. And y'all can, agree with me or not agree with me in the comments. But he's getting better and better. This is his biggest output that he had so far in the season. I believe he rushed for, make sure I'm right. I don't want to misquote his stats. The young man had 26 carries for 214 yards with a long run of 41 yards. I believe this is his biggest output on the season. That is almost 8.5 yards per carry, if I'm doing my math correctly. It's like 8.2, 8.3, something like that. He set the tone. Every time Jackson State needed something big, he got the job done. Every time Jackson State needed something big, they needed a big third down play, he got the job done. And Jackson State came out like bats out of hell. First 3 drives, very, very impressive. They ran a flea flicker. That's the first time you've seen that. And that's because of how the run game was going. They were able to do something, a little trickeration. They ran a flea flicker, and I believe they hit the big tight end. What is his name? DJ Stevens. Yeah, the tight end, DJ Stevens. 38-yard touchdown pass. Just great. The first 3 drives is great. And then Texas Southern, they did answer. I give them credit, and I wanted to see a very, very good ball game, although I called the score being 38-10. So I was off by 3 points with Jackson State score, and I was off by 4 with Texas Southern score. So I was kind of there, although I wanted to see a good game. And as Jay Blue mentioned, Jackson State special teams, oh my goodness. The punt return game is just not where it needs to be by a team coached by Coach Sanders, who, he performed well in the special teams department. And I said it in my pregame show yesterday morning, as I told y'all, man, I gave y'all 10 hours of streaming yesterday. He's gotten better as the season's gone on. Yes, he has. Good morning, Veronica's in here. Hattie Ross says he's a beast. Yeah, absolute beast. But I told y'all in the pregame show I did yesterday morning, about the same time, I said that Jackson State's punt return game is very, very suspect. They've had a couple of guys drop balls on punts. I don't know what they're doing, what they're looking at. I think it was Willie Gaines. That's probably his second or third time of having a dropped punt. And Texas Southern was able to capitalize on that. And their running back, Texas Southern running back, made a very, very good move. After having the touchdown call back. Excuse me, I'm burping. I just had a big, big breakfast. So I'm late doing this. I went to breakfast this morning. So I'm doing it at this time. I had breakfast early this morning, so I have to get that out. But Texas Southern's running back. I want to say his name is, good Lord, what is his name? What is that young man's name? It's something Howard. Jacory Howard. Jacory Howard had a very, very good run where he cut back, made the defender look silly, and put them down 21-14. That's the closest it was in the second half. It was 21-14. After that, Jackson State just kind of took off. And I don't know what Coach Fromm goes in there at halftime and tell those guys. I don't know what he goes in there and tells them, but they come out looking like a totally different ball club. Totally different ball club every single time. And you don't want to continue to have that trend. For right now, as continue to work out for Jackson State, being a second half team, but you don't want that to be, consistently who you are. It means you go in there and make good adjustments, but you want to be able to make a full game and be complete from the start to finish. And they came out like bats out of hell. First 3 drives, highly impressive. Texas Southern received the ball. Andrew Body was running for his life on that very first possession. They come back. Shedeur is on this game. Wilkerson is on this game. They go score like 8 or 9 plays easily. Travis Hunter even got him, they ran a little quick pass to him. They ran another pass to him. So Travis Hunter's starting to get his feet wet. Y'all seen him on the defensive side of things and how great that young man is. Electrifying. And Coach Prime has told y'all he's better than him at that age. Texas Southern did throw at him a little bit. They did. They tried. That one late in the third quarter, I believe, they threw it. He got beat, or as some folks like to say, he allows the offensive player to beat him, and it's just his recovery speed and his technique. He's able to recover. They threw it. By the time the ball got there, he was swatting the ball down, swatting the offensive player's hands down for an incomplete pass. So it looks like he gets beat. For the most part, I guess we can describe it as him allowing them to kind of get some leg room because he's just that dang gone talented. Jay Blue said, someone said the young man who was in the return has fumbled a few times. Yeah, Willie Gaines. I believe it's Willie Gaines. He has fumbled a few times. They had Kevin Coleman back there earlier in the season. He fumbled once, and I ain't seen him back there since. But that punt return game has to get better. I don't understand why they're not fair catching a little bit. Even if he did fair catch, he still got to catch the ball. But it's happening more and more. Let's say, I want to say at least 6 or 7 times this has happened this year for Jackson State on the punt return side of things. Kickoff return, they're good. Isaiah Bowden he has a very, very good average on kickoff return. Again, I appreciate y'all coming through here. We're almost at 50. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button for me. Hit that like button for me and subscribe. Jay Blue said Texas Southern is a beast. A dude built like Mac Jones. He's good. Jacory Howard. I like what I saw from him. I really, really, really did. I like what I saw from him. Make sure y'all hit that like button, as we just got a like on Facebook. Chris Silas says, body got body. Man, I was hoping for him to be have a good game because I think he's a good quarterback. I was hoping for him to have this game circled and to tell folks, like, don't forget about me and this quarterback. Y'all talking about Shedeur and deservingly so, but don't forget about me. But the defensive pressure it's relentless from Jackson State. Relentless. And yes, they gave up 14. More than their average. What was that? 5 or 6 points more than their average. But that defense is just relentless. And I would say this. There was a time when Texas Southern was kind of feeling themselves. It was right after they scored that second touchdown. And that Jackson State was getting penalties on top of penalties on top of penalties. And their defensive leader, Mr. Aubrey Miller, who will be playing on Sundays. That, as I say, I don't like, giving guys the pro label, but I believe Aubrey Miller will be playing on Sundays easily. I don't know what round he's going to get picked in. And somebody said yesterday in the stream they believe he's better than James Houston. And they play, two different styles. James Houston was more of an edge rusher. Aubrey Miller is a true linebacker who can do some edge rushing, but he's a true linebacker. But as I was saying, there was a time when Texas Southern was kind of, feeling themselves, and penalties was happening against Jackson State, offsides here and there. And Aubrey Miller just basically said, you know what? Not on my watch. Not on my watch. He made 2 or 3 plays in a row and just said straight stifled the defense. Stifled Texas Southern's offense. He told the team, not today. We're not losing on my watch. And if y'all can go interview that guy and ask him right now, I bet that's what he said in the huddle. Not on my watch. We're not losing this. Not while I'm here. I just have a feeling. You can see in his presence the energy that he brings, the intensity that he brings all the freaking time. Hattie Ross says maybe they need to put more Pope back there. Maybe Jay Blue body carries that whole team, man. I feel so bad for him. That's a big burden to carry. Yeah, it is. It is. And what they got to do, what Texas Southern has to do, and I said it in the stream yesterday, they're going to have to convince those local kids from the Channelview area. I'm going to name a bunch of surrounding cities around Houston. Channelview, Alvin, Katy, Cypress area, the Beaumont area, Port Arthur area. They're going to have to go and get those kids and convince them to come. And they're going to have to beef up that offensive line and get better on the offensive line, because that's what it boils down to. If you cannot protect your quarterback, it's going to be hard to win some games. Although Texas Southern has won more games than most folks thought. Again, we almost at 100, so y'all get them likes up. It's going to be hard for him. And I think Andrew Body is a very, very good quarterback. Just the protection is not where he needs it to be. And Jackson State defense make a lot of quarterbacks look bad. They made the FAMU quarterback look bad. What is his name? Jeremy Mimosa. And Jeremy is having a really, really good season after that. Those first 2 games. After the Jackson State game, he had a good game against North Carolina. First game of the season. But they made him look bad. It's just the all pressure. Niles Gaddy was pretty good yesterday. The all-out pressure that they give you. They can blitz, or they can just bring 3 and still get pressure. That's how good Jackson State is on the defensive side of things. Just that good, man. I'm running out of superlatives. I'm running out of superlatives for that defense. As y'all remember earlier in the season, not earlier in the season, a couple of weeks ago when they played Campbell, Coach Mentor, he said that defense reminds him of the 85 Chicago Bears. If y'all know anything about football, that Chicago Bears 85 defense was legit, led by Richard Dent, Mike Singletary. I'm running out of words to describe how good this defense is. Maybe somebody in the chat, in the comments, can let me know of a different word to use. But Savion Wilkerson was the key to the game to me, and that's why I labeled this Jackson State runs through Texas Southern. Wilkerson was that dude, and he's been that dude for a minute. And shout out to my guy Miag Mike. I don't know if he's in here yet. He told me how good this kid was. coming up very, very big for his team in the time that they needed. Texas Southern, again, down 21-14. you got the ball back with a chance to score. Aubrey Miller says it's not on his watch. And the next possession, Wilkerson does his thing. Gets a couple of first downs here and there. He was the key to the game yesterday. Again, Shedeur had a great game. I'm not going to deny him. He did what he normally does. He was 23 of 30, 252 yards, three passing touchdowns, and a rushing TD. No interceptions. Young man is legit. For anybody who has questions on how good he is, he doesn't throw the deep ball a lot. But what Shedeur does, he takes what the defense gives him. And that's what you do as a small quarterback. And why? It's because it's what Tom Brady does, his mentor, his quarterback coach. Tom Brady takes a lot what the defense gives him. He did it a lot in New England. And you can see the correlation in Shedeur Sanders' game. You can see the correlation. Again, 23 of 30, 252 yards. That's normal. That's normal for him. Shane Hooks had 7 catches for 76 yards and 2 touchdowns. DJ Stevens, 3 catches for 56 yards. Travis Hunter had 2 catches. Kevin Coleman had 2 catches. We had a Cordarius Davis and y'all, oh my God, that's how loaded Jackson State is. Cordarius Davis barely gets any time. If y'all seen Cordarius Davis highlights from high school, absolute monster. Absolute monster. And the biggest factor that was missing from yesterday was Shedeur Sanders' security blanket in Dallas Daniels. He did not make the trip from what I was told. He did not make the trip from what I was told. Chris Silas says he needs to transfer. Honestly, the offense rely heavy on him. Yep. He can come to JSU. He can come to JSU, but he won't be playing quarterback. He won't be playing quarterback. Teresa's in the building. What's up, Teresa? Good morning. Felix Fix is here. What up? He'll be QB number 2 there, yeah. Probably 3. Always making sure he plays on Sunday. He was a great lead on the field last night. Absolutely. I'm glad other folks noticed it. I'm glad other folks noticed this. He would play the last 7 minutes of every game. Afro Top Jones says in East Texas. What did you talking about, East Texas? Shout out to East Texas. Get rid of the entire offensive style that OC is too conservative. Is it Musa? Am I saying his name? Aubrey Miller is the truth. Yeah, Philip speaks. Is it Mimosa? Is it Musa? I don't know what his name is. It's something. I want to say it sounds like Mimosa. Something like that. How many sacks did Gaddy get? I'm not sure. They never really highlight defensive stats, man. As I'm trying to look. No, I don't have the official stats on the defensive side of things. They never really give you that. Terry Harris says the Boom did that thing. I didn't really get to catch the halftime. As I'm trying to read the comments, Elijah Watson said Jackson State defense is a nightmare. Yeah, absolutely. They're probably keeping offensive coordinators up at night. These guys are relentless. And again, they can cause pressure with just giving 3 to the line, 3 to the quarterback. That's how good that they are. My son plays trombone. Shout out to you. Coach DT wants the defense to be on the purpose, assignment, and alignment. Dennis Thurman is just, again, how can this defense be better than the defense that was last year? How can that defense last year be topped by this group right here? And it's happening. It's happening right before our eyes. This defense last year is, let's just say it is light years ahead of what the defense was last year. And it mainly is because I think they they depended more on James Houston causing havoc and getting sacks and Keontae Hampton. But overall, the overall play of the defense is 10 times better than what it was last year. And that's scary. That's scary. Refrigerated Parrot, Mike Singletary, Richard Dent. Yep, all those. Crazy. Elijah Washington says Hunt, who we never seen before. Heard Dallas injured his hand. That's why he wasn't playing. What happened to Dallas? Okay, y'all answering that. Terry Harris says he is. He had came out the Southern game holding his hand. Okay, gotcha. I missed that. And we had a young man in the stream yesterday who is a DT or a linebacker. He was in the stream yesterday. He's hurt. He was literally in the stream yesterday. Huggins, Nugget, and Dallas had injuries. Nugget ain't even been out there. This defense is just stupid good, man. And Brian Johnson says the defense has more athletes. Yes. It has more athletes. Shout out to Derek. What up, Derek White? Member. Derek White is a member of this channel. Was Nugget there yesterday? No, not that I know of. He's hurt. Terry Harris says they playing cohesive as a unit. As we just got over 100, I appreciate y'all coming through. Make sure y'all hit that like button. If y'all really like what we do, y'all can always hit the Cash App. It is $ Between the Game Sports with an S. And while I'm talking about that, man, I finally seen my good friend sent me the picture of there's two accounts out there on Cash App who was using the name of my channel, the name of my company, in my name through Cash App. One has a Jackson State logo and the other one has something. Those are not me. I'm not affiliated with those two Cash Apps, and it pisses me off. I try not to get mad about it because I understand there's just people in the world who are evil and there are scammers. But oh man, it pisses me off because I've done a lot in in normal life and then in the sports world to not to have anything smear my name. And that really, really bothers me that somebody's out there using that and then trying to use Jackson State with it. That is just, oh my God, it runs me hot. But back to this game. Jay Blue said, can't remember the but was Malachi. Yeah, he played. He caught one catch. He caught one catch yesterday. And again, Malachi Wyman was their go-to threat last year. He doesn't drop balls. He can beat you vertically running, and he can beat you vertically in the air. This is why he led the team in touchdown catches last year. And he can't even get time on the field. I don't know the true story behind everything with Malachi Wyman, but we know for sure that initially it was some great stuff. But he has to figure it out, and he's going to have to get better. And I hope he stays. I hope he doesn't enter the transfer portal. Because I'm a type of guy. You start something, you finish it. But I understand. Terry Harris says there's a lot of scamming going on. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's dumb. Dumb. Elijah Washington said, "Why are they copying?" Yeah, man. It's frustrating. I really think I try to be a good dude, right? Everything I do, I think I'm a good dude. I hope y'all feel the same way. I hope y'all feel that I am a good dude. I try to do good things. I try to put out positive vibes in the world as much as I can. But that runs me hot because, you're playing with my brand and you're playing with my name. And then you're trying to use Jackson State. you know, like get your own hustle. Right? And I'm not saying I'm out here hustling y'all, because everything I'm doing is legit. Everything I do is legit because I've never wanted to go to jail. So I try to be a stand-up guy on everything that I do. And Jay Blue says, man, you made it. When scammers start trying to use your brand, that sucks. Though. Yeah, it really, really does. So. And Jay Blue says, we had a few balls drop yesterday. Yeah, a couple of balls. Yeah, like one play, man. One play. One play that was really baffling to me. I think it was Shane Hooks. I want to say it was Shane Hooks. He had a first down, and for some reason he ran backwards to try to like circle back. And he didn't just run backwards, maybe 1 or 2 yards. It was like 4 or 5 yards. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? But then he backdoored, caught a ball, leaped over a guy, got a first down, made a guy miss on the sideline, get hit by 2 or 3 guys, and then take them for about 4 or 5 yards. So I guess I can't forgive him for that. A lot of people have built their platforms off JSU. Yeah, Terry, you're right. You're right. And I'm one of them. My channel has grown because of the content that I put out about Jackson State. But I'm not asking Jackson State to give me any credit. What they're doing is what they're doing over there. So for somebody to try to use their name and mix my name in it pisses me off. OC is probably trying to spread the ball across several receivers. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's not just the OC. It's Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders is just such a smart young man and a cerebral quarterback. He takes what the defense gives him. He doesn't have a favorite target. And if we want to say it's a favorite target out there, it might be Dallas Daniels because he's always open. He runs really good routes, in my opinion. Y'all, may agree or disagree with me on that. I think he runs good routes and he's always open. He's usually sure-handed. I think he has a couple of drops on the season, but Dallas Daniels is usually open. So if we want to say he has a favorite target, it might be him. But Shedeur usually, for the most part, he goes to whoever is open. Shane Hooks, Dallas Daniels, DJ Stevens, Willie Gaines. Yesterday, I think, Mr. Rucker got some action in yesterday, which he is barely even getting any time on the field. Trevante Rucker. Quadarius Davis, again, a guy who's highly, highly recruited, barely getting any time. Andre Hunt caught a ball yesterday. Charlton Goodell caught a ball yesterday. And who else? Malachi Wyman. He caught a ball yesterday. So Shedeur just takes what the defense is giving him and I think that's a sign of a good quarterback. And I can kind of go back on my previous statement earlier in the season. I thought well, maybe he's going to have to find a go-to receiver. Maybe he's going to have to find a guy that he, consistently can trust. But from the looks of it, it don't look like he needs to. Doesn't look like he needs to. How many guys on defense are returning? I'm not sure. I'll wait till the end of the season to figure that all out. Dallas Daniels ain't playing yesterday. No, he didn't. They say he's hurt. Elijah Washington says, we enjoy your streams. I appreciate it. They're using too high commodity. Oh, man. It is what it is, man. Terry Harris says, no, that's what all script is doing. I don't know anything about the guy. What's weird is, man, like his name has been mentioned a couple of times on here. And again, I have never checked out his channel. And I'm gonna leave it at that. But he's been in this stream a couple of times. He's been in this stream on his channel a couple of times, as far as just kind of peeking in. And once was either Thursday or Friday, and it was like his birthday. So I told him happy birthday. Like, I don't know much about the guy. So we're going to leave it at that. Whatever he does on this stream, I can't control it. It was Shane Hooks. He corrected it, Shane Hooks. What did I say wrong? Buckley dropped a touchdown. Jay Blue said, yeah, man, run on the side. I don't know what he was doing, man. I didn't know he was injured. Yeah, I didn't know. I thought Dallas played until he was hurt yesterday. Oh, using JSU's name in a negative way to get clicked. That's a strategy a lot of folks use, right? And this is why the Skip Baylesses of the world are who they are, man. Like he's attached his name to LeBron James and been able to be successful with it. And everybody has their own route and want to take whatever route they want to take, they can have it. You ain't lying. You got clowns who have never talked about HBC or JSU games on YouTube, now selling strip JSU games, last two games in order to get subscribers and likes. AP, I would say it like this, man, and I hope for those who have been with me for a while, y'all have heard me say this before. As I want to try to stick to the topic of the game, but as y'all comment, I always want to try to answer the comments as much as I can. And I've said this before, if you've been on the channel before. It's everybody can eat in this YouTube world, and it's an analogy. Everybody can eat in the world, period. Right? But not everybody wants to help set the table. And what I mean by that is we have to understand that it's enough to go around in this YouTube world and everybody still be successful. And it bothers me sometimes that, I've had some streams where people have been coming in here trying to say, oh, you can go to such and such channel and do this. You won't hear all the talking. You want to do that. And I'm just like, bro, if you don't like it, you can easily find another channel. As you mentioned, there are other people doing games and stuff now, which is fine because when you think about it, somebody said yesterday that there was a channel out there who had like 5,000 people watching the Jackson State on their stream. Yesterday in here, I think we got up to about 2,600. My good friend Hope Jorgen, I think he had about 2,900. So that's let's say basically 10,000 folks on 3 different channels. That's at minimum. So there's enough to go around for folks to enjoy it and still eat. So there's no reason for folks to hate on each other. But I mean, I've been hated on this channel a little bit, and it is what it is. And as I said with Jackson State, when you get all the fame and acknowledgement and accolades, and you want all that, you want all the good stuff, you have to understand that the bad part of things come with it, the jealousy, the hate. So we're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna keep rocking how we rock over here, and that's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah. JSU 9-0. What's up? Southbound, what's up? Let Shane live. He didn't go back that many yards. How many yards would you say, Fela? Chris Salas said, I don't see JSU losing. Somebody told me Jackson State was going to lose 2 games this year. And I think I told them they were out their mind. Multiple targets cause the defense to keep their heads on the swivel. Yes, it does. JSU haters getting madder and madder every week. Numbers at the last 2 games, players. It is what it is. We stay positive on the stream. Yeah, we do. It's insane every week I do stream JSU again that don't even follow college sports, and especially HBCUs. I know. I won't say I know one personally, but I do know of a person who never even heard of an HBCU who's doing stuff. Everyone wants to be a shock jock. Yeah, they can have that, man. They can have that. That's not really my thing. Negativity, unfortunately, sells. Yes, it does. This is why the news is the way it is. Right? When you hardly ever see the news do positive stories. Right? You hardly ever see them do positive stories. Juice says, happy Sunday. HBCO drives in the bill. What's up, my guy? Some of these people on social media act like people who have only been around 2 years. All they know is Alcorn was the last team to win pre-COVID. It is what it is. And I'll put it like this. It's the same thing with my Astros, man. Shout out to the Houston Astros. H-Town, stand up. What up, baby? There are a lot of folks in the streets talking about, man, we don't need no new bandwagoner fans coming on. If you ain't been a fan since day one, we were losing 115 games and all this other stuff, don't come and cheer for us. Man, so what? So what? And my thought process on it is, at some point, every team started off with 0 fans. Every team in the sports world started off with 0 fans. So, we all can be labeled as bandwagoners, right? So what? So what if you're a day one or if you a newcomer, so what? I say let them come. That's why I tell Astro fans, let them come. So what? Terry says I have no problem with constructive criticism, but what bothers me is the negativity when their entire channel is built on tearing down a school team on its players. I hear you. Terry Harris, I'm so glad I just saw that. Shout out to my guy T Money. T Money, appreciate you coming through. I wanted to get on that. SWAC referees. Oh my goodness. And refereeing and officiating is very, very difficult. And we can point out in almost every single game, SEC, ACC, Big 12, there's some just bad calls. And I had some folks in here yesterday, and I don't want to say they weren't, getting on me, but they was just like, oh man, you must be rooting for Texas Southern. No, I'm rooting for the game. But the helmet-to-helmet call, I get it because it's in the rules. And that was a big play against Texas Southern. They threw that flag, and I'm just like, And I get folks is like, man, that's the definition of the rule, and I get it. But I'm like, dude, the kid, from my opinion, my point of view, the kid wrapped up and his head turned, and as his head was turning, that's when the helmets hit. So I'm like, technically that is how you teach a kid to tackle. Right? He wasn't leading with the crown of his helmet. He didn't lift his body off the ground, as somebody said in the chat yesterday, lifted or something like that. I don't know what that was. I want to say that was Wayne Morgan. But that was a tough call. And then the 2 plays before that, Shedeur Sanders gets pushed out of bounds, and he was out of bounds already, and he got pushed about 3 yards deep out of bounds already. And the rule, that is supposed to be a late hit. So the inconsistency on what happens a lot of times, it baffles me. But I do understand that officiating is very, very difficult. Because I used to do it. There was they called it offsides against Jackson State, where the center reached out. The center reached out and touched the defender. They call offsides. Y'all remember that play? It's officiating is difficult, man. But the inconsistency is the most concerning part for me. And shout out to Dusty Baker. Yep, shout out to Dusty Baker. Even if you're a bandwagon, at least find out the sport or the teams you were talking about. Sonny gonna be right. W.R. Hunt must be good. He caught a lot of passes. Who was that? Who does he play for? I know that's an Andre Hunt for Jackson State. The corner, the CB rails won't be any better. Celebration Bowl. I still say Reverend Pastor was the right call. I think he wanted to lay the boom on too. He can't lunge upward. I don't think he lunched upward, but I get it. I get it. SWAC office is my hometown of Birmingham, just like the SEC headquarters. But I want the SWAC commissioner to create an agreement with them to train SWAC referees. Might be a problem. Wayne Morgan, what up, Wayne? There he is. I wonder if anyone knows if the lady ref. Oh, man. And they missed a few late hits yesterday. Yeah, I think so, man. Again, y'all make sure y'all hit that like button for me. Subscribe. And if you really like what we do, you can always hit the cash app. I'll put it on the screen just for a second. Man, I got to get my plug in. That is the official cash app. Nothing else. But overall, this game, I enjoyed doing it. Yes, it was a blowout. There was somebody who was, I think, off by a point. I was off by 3 points with Jackson State and 4 points with Texas Southern. I said 38-10. The final score was 41-14. But Wilkerson, we cannot deny what that young man did yesterday. And again, that's why the title of this stream is Jackson State runs straight through Texas Southern. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And I don't know if y'all was paying attention to the game at one point late third quarter or early fourth quarter. You just heard a big uproar and an explosion. That's because Jordan Alvarez had hit a 3-run bomb. And you can hear it all the way. You can hear it all the way. Shout out to the damn Astros, man. I got on my Astros hoodie, actually. I don't turn on my camera on Sundays. I don't feel like messing with it. Terry says she's a horrible official. It was a tough, but the right call. Yep, Brian, you're right. You're right. Well, they did not throw him out the game. Normally, they put you out. That's because they call roughing the passer. They didn't call targeting. Elijah, they call roughing the passer, not targeting. They was playing dirty, trying to hurt Shedeur. Southern did the same thing, grabbing him all around his neck, had it rolls. That happens more often than not in a lot of games when people have a chance to get quarterbacks. I'm glad that they pulled Shedeur after he got his helmet taken off. I believe they pulled him right after that play, and this is why some fans have been saying for the past couple of weeks, why leave Shedeur in late in the games, because stuff like that happens, man. Pride kicks in, players get jealousy. Man, look, as much as Jackson State, as much hate as the team is getting overall, you can bet your bottom dollar that Shedeur probably gets the most hate. Why? Because he's the son of Shedeur Sanders. And he has a deal with Beats by Dre. He's a Gatorade athlete. So you better believe. Y'all seen the video of the Southern kids in the locker room on TikTok saying they was gonna take his chain and all this, calling him a HO, you know what, N-word and all this other stuff. So you better believe that kid gets as much love as he gets. He probably gets 10 times as much as hate. Is there even a rule for the offensive player touches the defensive player by accident? I don't know what that was, man. If the aggression wasn't getting out of the hand, that call doesn't come. Dirty play is par for the course when you're up and coming. Sad part is these are young black men trying to damage other. Yeah, unsportsmanlike, man. This is why I hate the end of the game handshake. I hate it. Brian Johnson says I'm a proud bandwagon. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Sonic Boom says he had 42-14, so that was you. He was 1 point off. 1 point off. Compared to the one, the roughing in the passer called on JH the past 2 weeks was a flag football compared to the one guy. Oh, man. They hate your vibe with your audience. Everyone can hold great conversation. Yeah, man. It's all to the good, man. That means I'm doing something right? Right? If you have a hater, if you have multiple haters, it kind of means you're doing something right. And of course, there are folks out there in the world who just love to hate and be miserable, so they gotta have people miserable with them. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna continue to be me. As folks, even folks tell me about my how I get on myself about my Houston slang and my Houston twang and that Texas speech I have. A lot of folks is like, man, just keep it, man. Be who you want to be. be who you are, and I got to try to do that the best of my abilities. So I'll pose this question in the comments, since we're the main focus of this stream is about Savion Wilkerson. I know he's a sophomore, I believe. He's a transfer from the MEAC. I can't remember what school he went to. But how good is this kid? How good can he be? Again, he ran for 214 yards yesterday at about 8.2 yards per carry, something like that, on 26 carries. Yeah, 8.2 yards a carry. And somebody mentioned the name of, it's not Mike Anderson, CJ Anderson. And that's who I've been trying to think of. CJ Anderson. He reminds me of CJ Anderson. Played for the Broncos, I believe. Played for the Rams last year. This kid doesn't look that fast, but he's moving. And he's a big body. They got him listed at, let's see. They got him listed at 5'8", 205. But to me, he looks a little bigger. And again, maybe it's the padding. But then again, these young athletes, they don't wear them big pads no more. He looks bigger than that to me. But he's moving in the hip. The hip movement is what is my biggest surprise. That's the biggest surprise for me, his hip movement. He's able to turn his hips and get to the spots where he needs to be. And that's just a sign of a good running back. Shout out to the Russian bots. Russian bots in the building. Delaware State. There you go. Delaware State. Sonic Boom says, I don't think Shedeur has been in too long. In the BCU game, he wanted to have a drive and really out the offense got stagnant. Yeah, and I understand that. Coach Prom said that. But a lot of fans are saying to get him out because they fear for that type of stuff. 58 tried to snatch his chain for real, too. The coach's character should be in question when they allow their players to do 30 things like that. And Stoney, I would say this, man. We can question the coaches, but in my opinion, because I've been around nothing but good coaches. I've interviewed nothing but good coaches. You can't always control how a player reacts to things, especially when you're getting your butt kicked, right? You can preach about it to your kids all the time, tell them don't do this and that, but that emotion, that trash tackling that goes on the field that we can't hear, it sometimes some kids just can't handle that, and it gets to them. And I'm not saying it's an excuse, but I understand what might happen. It's great to come in here and watch the game and to talk your crap with each other and laugh, and that's why everyone keeps coming back. Don't change nothing, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna absolutely keep doing what I'm doing. They hit Shedeur, could have been a targeting because it was him that having a part of the crowd. Hit Shedeur, they didn't call it face mask on them. The other part, yeah, missed some calls. Could have went either way. Delaware State, there we go. Appreciate y'all. Everyone has a job to do. Unfortunately, so do haters. Yep. Wilkerson was running like a man possessed, just from the rip, man. From the rip, and they got him listed at 205. He looks a little bigger than that. My guy Hoop Jargon says, wait, what are haters? Yeah, we got the bottom out there. And Darren Jennings says he was the MEAC player of the year. Did not know that. Appreciate you. Eugenia, good afternoon. Derek White said, fast enough, big enough. Wilkerson just praying he continues to do what he's doing. It's just getting better and better. He's getting better and better. Dooley still hasn't addressed the video. Interesting. He's a sophomore, Lord, sweet Jeebus. They really going to be hating at him and Shedeur and Travis, Dallas Danes, Coleman, Wyman. Yeah. Swac in trouble the next couple of years, and they're supposed to be. And this is why I said, me and Hoop Jargon have both talked about this. We have both talked about this before. Folks that keep saying that Coach Prime is the best coach in the nation. And I've said that he has to dominate the SWAC this year, win it outright this year, go undefeated next year, win the SWAC again. If you lose one, so what? This is what great coaches do. They dominate their conference on multiple years. 2 years, he's getting there. It's still a small sample size, but he's getting there. But if this is the trend that's going to happen, the SWAC, good Lord. I mean, you're going to play the games, but you're basically going into the game like, nah, man, we got to play Jackson State this week. All right, let's go and take this butt whooping and get ready for the next situation. I believe they called the rough on the passer call because they missed the late hit call right beforehand. A defensive player hit him. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Blazer. That's what I was saying. Coach should have players remove jury before games. I can kind of agree with you on that. But man, look who their coach is. Coach Prime. He knows he knows about what people want to see. He knows about the jury. He knows about having marketing and having Coach Prime at the back of his at Coach Prime on the back of his shirt. Shedeur has a shirt that says at Shedeur Sanders. Stuff like that. One player's issued an apology on his IG page for his behavior in that Southern game. He must have thought about them consequences. Yeah, man. The social media make you change up real quick. It looks like he's about 215. I'm about 215. I'm good with that. 215 and Stoney says Wilkerson had 900 plus yards as a freshman. He was at about 600 some yards yesterday, so he might just be under 1,000 right now for the season. He might be just under 1,000 for the season, far as running yards. Now he does have a couple of catches out the backfield this year. Brian Johnson, but coaches can punish their players so they realize there are consequences to their action. Yes, that's exactly what coaches can do. Dulu is not going to address the video. He wouldn't even give JSU credit during the press. Savion has to be the SWAC newcomer of the year. Quite possible. Quite possible. Somebody said he can be offensive player of the year, and I said I don't think he has enough touches. I don't think he has enough touches to be the offensive player of the year. We know Shedeur more than likely is going to win conference, MVP. I want to say he was my prediction that, beginning of the season before the season started. I said Aubrey Miller was going to be defensive player of the year. He's for sure in the running. There are a couple other guys who have really, really great seasons. I can't name them off the top of my head right now, so I'm not even going to try. They haven't lost in the SWAC yet. No, they haven't lost in the SWAC. If we want to, but technically we can, if we want to count their wins, we got to count their losses, right? Even though Coach Prime came in that shortened season and they played in the spring of 2020, what did they go, 3-3 or 3-4, something like that? So if we're going to give them credit for the wins in that time frame, we have to give them, credit for those L's as well. So, but then yes, in these last year and a half, last 20 games, they went. What did they go last year in conference? They went 11-0 in conference last year, I believe, and then they're 11. So last 20 games in the SWAC, they are undefeated. If we can get top tier O-line and D lineman players next year, it would be scary. There's a lot of guys who ain't playing. Remember they signed a big kid, 6'5", 300-pound white kid. I did a video about him. I don't even know if he played. And they took a risk on him, but just on the size alone. Coach Prime is a parent's favorite coach. He always protects them all for all kids around him, staff included. Yeah, I'm like that. As Wayne Morgan said, the hoop jargon meeting, we sent dozens of them to the gulag yesterday. By the second half, we were almost hated free. Yeah, man, we had boys sending boys off to Rikers Island, right? We had boys, if you lived out west, we were sending you to Alcatraz. If you was down in Texas, we were sending you to Huntsville. So we was getting folks up out of here. We was getting folks up out of here yesterday, but the ERTs was getting folks up out. Coach made it clear to his players that he's staying at JSU after this game. Terry Harris did not see that, man. Maybe I need to do some more research. Too many touches can wear him down, Terry Harris. Yeah. But again, Santi Marshall doesn't even get enough tick. He doesn't get enough tick, but Wilkerson is just that freaking good, man. That freaking good. Coach Sanders call him a dog. Let me quote him. Let me quote what Coach Sanders said about Wilkerson. He says, Savion is a dog. And he's a pro, and the line blocked the butts off. They protected well, and we did what we wanted to do. This is a quote by Coach Prime. He said the young man is a dog. And each and every week, he continues to show that. And shout out to Ezra Kelly. Ezra Kelly with the Cash App donation. Appreciate you, Ezra. Just saw it. Ezra Kelly has been coming in here, rocking and rolling. G-Dub says Wilkerson could be close to 1K if he started the first 3 games. Yeah, he'd be well over 1,000. Let me go. I'll look it up for y'all right here, right now. He was at about 600 some yards yesterday, entering into the game. So he will be well over 1,000 yards rushing if he was the starter from day one. He's at 887 yards now, averaging 98 yards a game. So yesterday was his biggest output as far as carries and as far as yards, averaging 5.7 yards a carry. And we have to salute what Coach Prime said, and I know a lot of folks didn't want to hear it because you don't like to talk about kids sometimes. But Coach Prime said we need to get better on the offensive line. And what did they do? I don't think they have a returner from last year on the offensive line. As I will, for the next 10 minutes or so, we're going to open up the chat for anybody who want to come in and speak their thoughts. Put the chat in here. I didn't expect to go this long, actually. We're going to put the channel link up in the comments. So if anybody wants to join in, you can. Stoney said Slim Thug was at the game. That's what's up. Slim always gonna show up, man. I went to high school with Slim, man. Funny story. He used to call me Lil DJ because him and my brother used to hang out, a little bit. But Slim always been cool, man. Real grounded guy. Crazy that Wilkerson wasn't started in the beginning. Nope. Santee Marshall, they already said they won't want to give on what? On school too many awards. The guy from Valley probably getting Defensive Player of the Year. And that might be the guy I was thinking of because I saw him the other day. He was playing his butt off. Prime was basically interim coach in the spring. Yeah, but he should go over 1,000 this game. He's at 896. Appreciate you, Terry. Big country play yesterday. He did. I had fun at the game last night. G-Dub, man. I bet you did. There's more than what he did at Delaware State for that season. Wilkerson, man. Good Lord. We know that Wilk is that dude who needs more touches. Yeah. And he might not want to wear him down. Martin and Marshall are fumble machines, so Jay should have to limit their touches as the season progresses and the games become more important. Makes sense. And this is what I like about this channel. Folks don't come in here just, talking out of their butts. They come in here with real information, real facts. As I think we have Brian who just joined. Yep, that is Brian. Brian, what's going on, my guy?
9-0. That's all I got to say is 9-0. It's was a great. I just love when people on the chat, man. You got a great. You make really great content, and it's been a pleasure for me to be on and have some fun with some people on the chat. And people say, "Oh, but bandwagon, you're a fan." This is first of all, a fan's a fan. It shouldn't be classified or scripted that you have to be this fan or you have to be a fan for so long. Especially me when I play professional sports, I really look at athletes as far as how they perform and stuff like that. But I just love, even home here, my friends always tease me and say, "Brian, what championship hat are you going to buy this year?" So I'm all good with that. But yeah, talk about the game though. Shedeur played really well. They followed the game plan that we all were talking about before the game. As Wilkerson getting the ball, run the ball. The receivers played well. What I'm always happy about is the use of the tight ends. That's what I'm really happy about is the use of the tight ends. The defense played well. They were a little shouldn't say lackadaisical, but they were missing a lot of tackles, and the special teams didn't play as well as they've been from playing.
And I would just, I don't want to single that one group out. I guess we could just say full special team, but it's mainly the punt return game. They have not been consistent. Found one guy who can go back there and be for sure with filling the ball on a consistent basis. But yeah, I think, like I said, TSU were filling themselves for a little bit, and Aubrey Miller just basically said, "I'm not having it." He made 3 or 4 plays in a row where he was just stout, intense, and I think the guys just kind of rallied behind that. And of course, the fumble is what really got Texas Southern back in the game on the punt return. Man, that's what happens in sports, right? You have turnovers, and then and what Texas Southern did, what most the other teams haven't been able to do is capitalize on that turnover. So they did put some pressure on them, 21-14. They were able to beat their DBs a little bit here and there. But at the end of the day, I just knew that Jackson State it's just too much firepower. And I said this in the pregame show. Does Texas Southern have enough offensive firepower to keep up with Jackson State? And it's just the answer was no, and it showed.
Yeah, and another thing too was the resiliency of Jackson State when Texas Southern just scored, they came right back and scored. But like you were saying on that fumble, as far as their punt return team, um, Willie Gaines, he's got to catch the ball first before he starts to run, and that's what
Yeah.
happened. He was taking a step to run before he caught the ball, or he could have just even had a fair catch. But you know what? You just got to do, and that's what Coach Prime always preaches: do your job. You know what I mean? And then after you can go to the next level, the next phase of what you need to do. You catch the ball, then you run. But he was trying to run before he caught the ball, so you can't have those mistakes happen to you in a bigger game, in a championship game where it's, any given Saturday anybody can win. So you have to do your due diligence and perform at your highest level at your craft. If you're there to catch the ball, catch the ball. If you're there to tackle, tackle. If you're there to run, run. If you're there to block, block. You can't get bad penalties. But then again, we talk about the refereeing. I know you were mentioning about the helmet, Yeah, but it, I don't like those calls either. But that was the right call.
Mm-hmm.
That was because he kind of lunged in under the chin. They could have called targeting, but and this is one case where the referees kind of was a little late and he only called roughing the passer, so the guy wasn't disqualified from the game.
Yeah, that's why I said by rule that was the right call. I'm not disagreeing with anybody on that. But as most folks said, I think it was a makeup call from the miss late hit on the sideline, and I want to say that was on. Was that on Texas Southern sideline? Maybe that's why it wasn't called.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
yeah, it was on Texas Southern sideline.
So maybe not. And Aaron Wilson said, "Did you know that this is Jackson State first time in school? He's been down." Yeah. I learned that earlier in the week that if they won, this would be the first time they would be 9-0, the best start in school's history. H-Town was lit last night. I know it was, and I would have been there. Busy them says, if you think Wilkes doesn't get touches to wear him down, that isn't true. The reason why he doesn't get as many touches is because the future person is Shedeur Sanders, and we're not stupid. I don't know if I misquote about that earlier, but we're not stupid. Shedeur is the guy. This is why they pass on first and goal from the 4-yard line a lot of times, or you know what I mean. So we know that they want to give him his stats. And again, what coach wouldn't want to get their son some stats? If you're coaching your child, it's just that's human nature. You want your child to get some stats, man, especially if you're an offensive player. Terry said means we are real fans of the team. Okay, understandable. DJ Stevens also a good addition to JSU at the tight end spot outside of Bethune. No teams in the SWAC really uses their tight end. Nope. Keep dominating with the run game. The run game is just it's right there on par with Jackson State. It's just not with Jackson State's passing game. It's just not featured enough. It's not featured enough. Go ahead.
And the attack's been more balanced of late also because Coach Prime, it's one game he says, I don't know why we're not running the ball, which Shedeur had passed it almost 50 times or something like that. And he wasn't pleased with that, with the lack of the running game. And so it's been a more balanced attack. It's been more like I was saying before, more utilization of the tight ends. The tight end Hunt got a couple passes. Stevens is playing well. They did they did a 12 formation. You know what I mean? There was a lot of good things. And I think what's happening slowly but surely by the end of the season, we're starting to see the opening of the playbook.
Mm-hmm. The flea flicker caught me off guard. I mean, it really did. That really, really caught me off guard. But I think that's because the running game was so established early. As I'm reading some of these comments, it was so many people last night, especially with the Astros. Man, I know downtown Houston was stupid crazy. I don't have a problem with bandwagon fans per se, but sometimes you just have to remind fans of other teams in sports. Yeah, it comes with the territory. Mark Pope should be the return guy. We had so many issues with punt kicks and return decisions. We need to play those special teams. Yes, and that's we can say that's the one glaring weakness on Jackson State's side of things. You definitely said he had a blast. As saw somebody's comment. Oh yeah, Franklin. Franklin said, "Do you think Travis Hunter got that pick yesterday?" And who was that? You, Franklin, who asked was Travis Hunter gonna get his first pick or first touchdown? Somebody said that, and
I don't think he dropped the ball though. I don't think he dropped the ball. I thought he had possession of the ball.
I actually thought it was an interception because if I remember correctly, I think I went kind of crazy during the game. I thought it was an interception.
And he should have had another one. He dropped one on the far sideline at one time.
Mm-hmm.
Travis is a bad man. Travis, you know what I mean? You can see the progression. Wait till he puts on more weight. The guy is just is ahead of his time. You know what I mean? As far as his football IQ is just it's incredible.
He's good as advertised. Like sometimes you hear folks talk about kids and you be like, "Oh man, I got to see it in person. I got to see it." But he is as good as advertised. And we have to remember, this is only his fourth game. Yeah. This is only his fourth game of the season. And in the first game, he wasn't even completely healthy. It's just he's a football player, if I can say it like that.
He's like a football savant.
Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised by next year. I wouldn't be surprised if they, again, as you say, they put some weight on him. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not on punt return next year.
True.
I wouldn't be surprised. And Sonic Boom says, I saw a video of Texas Southern trying to talk noise in the tunnel. They talk it, we walk it. Everybody's going to talk noise, man. Look, again, you're going to get – Jackson State is going to get everybody's best shot. Everybody's best shot. We have some great tight ends that aren't being used. And Blazing Judah says the game should have been 57-15 because Shedeur was putting it on the money, but they were being dropped. Yes, there was a few drop passes.
Yeah.
Sonny Boom said that was an INT. I think it was, but, it is what it is. And, again, as somebody was asking me, somebody was saying, I think they said, like, Travis Hunter is overrated or something, and I told them, the stat book, if you go through and look at the stat sheet, his intangibles and what Travis Hunter does on the field is not going to show up in the stat book because they're not going to throw at him for the most part. Texas Southern tried a little bit, but for the most part, most teams not even looking his way, and that lets you know how good he is, and that's what Coach Sanders said when if y'all saw the College Game Day segment, he was tied with Lee Caruso and interceptions with 14 at Florida State. And what he said, you know what? That means that they didn't throw to my side very much.
That's right. and one thing that always amazes me is that, yes, we have opinions, and we're free to have an opinion unless you're Kyrie Irving, apparently. But but the thing is this: people say a guy's overrated, but who's the person that's saying this? Probably a person that never got on the football field. You know what I mean? It's just like sometimes when I was younger, and even now as I got older, movie critics, they want to criticize this and criticize that, but they never been an actor. You know what I mean? They've never been in a position to really give a valid opinion or critique of a situation. So is when the greatest quarterback to ever live, probably one of the second best football player ever, because I think LT was the best football player ever, but says that this guy is better than me at the same age, that says something.
Yeah. I mean, the most recognizable cornerback ever, one of the most recognizable football players ever. So I will have to tend to agree that this man knows exactly what he's talking about. And folks, you got these analytic folks and these TV personality pundits and stuff like that. They just got to talk about something and don't really. And this is why folks have issue with folks who are like Nick Wrights of the world, as my guy Hoop. He hate Nick Wright. Hey man, he be going in. I don't know Hoop. He's still in here. I don't know if he's still in here. But he be going in on Nick Wright. And Nick Wright, his the way he puts his arguments together are based off of numbers, and that's what a lot of folks can do. Don't mean they're right, don't mean they're wrong either, but for the most part, you got to go with your eyes and understanding what you see. You got to listen to folks who have been there, done that. And this guy's, again, he's the head cream of the crop at the cornerback position. Everyone knows that. TJ properly says the Dallas play. No, he was hurt. He was hurt. Seemed like he got bigger earlier than what? After his injury, he came back. He looked as he is now. The strength.
Yeah, that's true.
Like to get him right. So
that's true.
I must have missed something up here.
No, what he's saying is that Travis Hunter was bigger during the off season because he looked a lot bigger, and obviously having surgery and stuff like that, he probably couldn't do the same kind of workouts that he did previously.
No, you can't. You can't. I remember when I fractured my foot in college. I was still able to lift weights and stuff before I was like doing squats and other things like that. You can't really can't do that kind of stuff. So they're easing him back again. I've said this before. When you have a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, you don't take that out to drive every single day. You pull that out on Sundays when there's less traffic. When there's less traffic, the sky is blue, the wind is blowing a little bit. That's when you pull that out. So that's what you got to do with Travis Hunter. You got to treat him like a 1967 Mustang or something like that. You can't do it like that with him, man. Let's see. It's still talking about Travis. If he adds 15 pounds since has been props to the new strength and conditioning coach. Give him time. He's young and still growing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If he adds weight next year, I wouldn't be surprised just to give Jackson State a little more being dynamic on the special team side of things. I wouldn't be surprised to see him on punt returns and kick returns next year. Because I think he's just that electrified. Y'all seen a couple of moves that he made the 2 times that he did get the ball yesterday, especially that second catch where he had the defender eating dirt over there. I just think he's a special guy. You can tell it. You can feel it. You can feel it. Even through watching through the screen, you can feel how special it is. And I can't wait to go see it next year in person. Because I'm going. I'm going to the game. But that's about it. Again, I wanted to give Wilkerson his props because, again, if nobody saw the game, they can look at Shedeur's numbers and say, man, he was 23 of 30 and 4 total touchdowns. And like, oh, Shedeur must have won him the game. No, not in my opinion. I think he was the, kind of piggyback off of what Wilkerson does. And I said this in my stream. Brian, you might have been there. I know some other folks were there, but I said it in the pregame show. When Jackson State gets in trouble, Wilkerson is the guy who's usually this year has been the one who's put them on their back, got a couple of conversions on second, and got Jackson State some much needed first downs. And then Shedeur comes in and finishes the job. So I wanted to make sure that he got his props because it was about time, deservingly so.
Yeah, 100%. He's definitely been the catalyst for that team this year. You know what I mean? He's the guy that comes in and all of a sudden he lifts up your offensive line. He lifts up the whole spirit of the team because he's relentless. You were comparing him to another running back in Denver, and I said, hey, that's a pretty good comparison. But I always think of him. I'm going back because I'm much older than you. I'm going back as a Jerome Bettis like.
I did a video about Jerome Bettis not too long ago. I don't know if I put it on YouTube or not. I did a video about him. Yeah. Bettis was a big boy, but he can move. He can swivel them hips. Feet. Yeah, quick feet. Yeah. Swivel them hips. And I was saying in the stream yesterday, I don't think I've seen Wilkerson get stopped on the first hit, and I don't think I've seen him get tackled for yards of loss. I really don't think I've seen it this year. And when you're averaging almost 6 yards a carry for the most part, that's exactly why. We average, and I guess we can end about Texas Southern. I want to give them the props, man. They competed. Nobody expected them to score for the most part. Nobody expected them to win over 4 games, and they already have 4 games this year. They surprised a couple of good teams. They beat Southern, blanked them, and a lot of folks had Texas Southern finishing dead last in the conference. So I'm going to give Texas Southern their props. Coach McKinney, if he can get some recruits in there, get some offensive line recruits, some people that can better pass block, they might be all right because Howard, the running back, he's good. But again, if you cannot, if the offensive line is not where it needs to be, then your running backs can't be showcased. Your quarterback doesn't have time. Andrew Bynum was 9 for 23 yesterday. He had 1 touchdown. He had a couple of drop passes in there as well. But
and he missed one. He missed the player on the first series. The guy was wide open and he overthrew him.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's Texas Southern. This is no shame in losing this game. Yeah, you lost by 41-14, but there's no shame in losing this game because everybody has lost to Jackson State. None of the games have been close. But you got some promise there. You have some pieces, but you just got to put it all together. So Coach McKinney, you're doing great with those guys. If you ever hear this, and just keep rocking and rolling. That's pretty much all I got on this channel. Again, I wasn't expecting to go to this long. So,
well, I appreciate you having me on it once again, and people continue to like, subscribe, and join. My daughter's trying to hook myself up here in Canada, and there's a problem, so she has to try to do something because I've been trying to get on that membership for the last 2 weeks because I'm definitely I'm here to support. I don't know. I know that you're trying to block, us illegals coming into your country, but I don't know if you're trying to block us. I don't know what's going on. But we'll get it straight.
Okay, appreciate it.
Thank you again,
I appreciate you coming through as always.
Thank you.
All right, so folks, I appreciate y'all coming through, hanging out with your boy on the Sunday morning. I know it's football time, and there's somebody Hoop Jargon says great analogy. I don't even know what I was talking about. Remember what I was talking about? Good Lord, I'm so way behind on these comments. Wilkerson was the MVP of the game. Yeah, absolutely. Travis reminds me of Young. Oh man, that's a name. That's a blast from the past. I forgot all about him. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all again. I know it's football. I don't know what games are on right now. My guy Hoop Jargon didn't do his show this morning because the Cowboys are off. I was actually looking for it. Derek White says Shedeur Sanders was 5'8", 200 pounds. If you compare Wilkerson's size, okay. And Clyde Marshall says time management when a running back runs reckless, he reduces value minutes from the clock, which thwarts the opposing team from having the ball. The Ferrari analogy. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. You can't bring that guy out every week, especially he's banged up a little bit. Let's say you going to the club, right? You got a big scratch on your car. You ain't trying to go to the club. You want to go get that fixed. Make sure it's right before you're going out. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all again always hanging with me on Sunday mornings. Y'all seem to enjoy the Sunday recaps, and if that's the case, let me know in the comments by putting a 100 or a thumbs up if you really, really enjoy the Sunday recaps. We got some videos probably dropping this week. And again, I said that more than likely, between now and the end of let's say January, maybe February, at some point we will have Coach Bubba McDowell, the head coach of Prairie View football team. He will be on this channel. Been working on that. We've been working on that as his somebody close to him has reached out to me about doing an interview with him. So between now and in my opinion, I will hope that he will want to wait to the end of the season so he can just kind of, excel for a little bit. But we will have Coach Bubba McDowell, Prairie View A&M head football coach, on this channel between now and like February. So y'all look out for that. Gonna do some probably NBA games this week. Y'all come through, rock out with your boy. NBA games and lives are totally different because we don't mess with them, the big boys. We don't mess with the big boys like that. So y'all stay tuned. The channel is steadily growing. We're almost at 6,000 subscribers. The goal is to get to 7,000 by the end of this year. Derek White, appreciate you. Peace, Blossom, appreciate you. So the goal is to get to 7,000 by the end of this year. So y'all make sure y'all continue to hit that like button, subscribe. Go to Facebook, like us on there. We're at 808 followers on there. We need to get to 1,000 by the end of the year on there. If you got Twitter, Instagram, anything like that, y'all do that as well. Follow us on there. And y'all have a great week, man. Again, I hope y'all push your clocks back. as we are about to get ready to dip. Hope I knew we had something to come. I can't stand Nick Wright. The crack guy. Yeah, man, you can't stand Nick Wright. Property has team. Appreciate you. So you again, like and subscribe before you get out of here. I appreciate y'all hanging with your boy on this Sunday morning, November 6th, I believe. November 6th. Yeah, so we almost at the end of 2022. Wow, crazy. So all right, again, if you're new to this channel, I always say this. I always say this at the end of my streams, and you folks who have been here before, y'all know what I say when I leave y'all. So if you do know it, put it in the comments. So this is Between the Game Sports on your best day. Be better. Think about it. I'm out. Peace.